I had a viewer topic request, so we're going to talk about losing ourselves. What is the prevalence of that, and how does that happen? We're also going to talk about when to bail on the beginning of a relationship if it's not quite working. What are some of the red flags, and how to find the love of our life. So, the prevalence of losing oneself. We're also going to talk about how it happens, but it is common. And although it's not always quantified in different studies, they think it's about 20 to 50% of people in different kinds of relationships. It can be familial, it could be romantic, or even in our friendships. When we start giving too much or feeling that we're not being heard, there's a lot of relationships that fall apart. So the purpose of this channel is to get rid of the red flags, how to have a healthy relationship. So we have to realize when we start losing ourselves, it's a lot of times because of a communication breakdown. So when somebody feels like they're losing themselves, it can lead to poor communication. And this lack of open and honest communication starts to strain the relationship and make it difficult for both partners to express their needs and feelings. And sometimes this can happen if you feel, I don't want to show that I'm too needy. And so your needs aren't being met. We have to try to meet as many needs as we can from within, but there are times, we need a little hug from our partner or things like that. Or we just can't express ourselves the way we need to, or it's not heard the right way. Maybe the person that we're with isn't understanding us, or they don't want to take the time, and that can be quite hurtful. There's also a lot of resentment and frustration that can start to build up. So over time, the partner who feels that they're losing themselves can start to feel resentful and frustrated. They can feel like their needs and desires are being consistently overlooked, and this leads to the breakdown in intimacy, also connection, because of that resentment barrier. And the erosion of individual identity within this relationship can result in misunderstandings and conflicts. So now you guys are arguing all the time, and it starts to eat away at the relationship. Each partner can have different expectations sometimes. So that's why it's really important to discuss them, not until they blow up, but as things come up. And also, both partners might have a different interpretation of the relationship, and that can lead to ongoing disputes. One partner might want to be married, the other just wants to have fun. Or in familial relationships, who's the leader, like mom or dad and the child, you sometimes start butting heads. And is it brother, sister? Are they equal, or is one trying to have a power trip? And when one or both partners feel like they're losing themselves, the overall satisfaction with the relationships, it starts to decrease. And studies on the relationship satisfaction have consistently shown that individuals who experience a loss of self-identity tend to be less satisfied with their relationship. So if they're less satisfied, a lot of times those relationships start to fall apart. And the dissolution of the relationship. So in severe cases, the feeling of losing oneself can contribute to the breakup or dissolution of the relationship. So partners start to feel consistently disregarded or undervalued. They can often choose to end the relationship in search of self-fulfillment. So if they're not getting what they need out of the relationship, if it's taking too much from them, sometimes relationships can be draining. You give, but you're not getting back, or it's just not the right kind of match. Sometimes, people have like those different expectations. So not all relationships where one partner feels like they're losing themselves end in a breakup. Some can improve through communication, self-awareness, sometimes even therapy. I have one-on-one coaching sessions if you're interested in that. But how we view ourselves, our emotional strength and maturity, that's extremely important. So for the high value relationship, there's certain red flags that can kind of let you know, like, this is not going to go where I want it to go. A lot of times when we start getting those butterflies, we start to overlook the things that are important to us. And we have to realize before we get into a relationship who we are, what's important to us. And if we want to have as close to perfect of a relationship that we can have, that we kind of stick to that. And as an example, if religion's important to you, you want somebody in the same religion as you. That's important. That could be a deal breaker for you if they're outside the religion. But if you like get the little tingles for somebody else that's of a different faith, that can change the relationship that you were hoping for. So maybe your faith isn't being built like you wanted it to be. And it can be outside religion. It can be anything, you know. If you are somebody who needs somebody around all the time, but then you're dating somebody in the service, you have to realize that if you want that relationship to continue, are you okay with them traveling like that on deployment? So there's also some compassion where, you know, just because you see one red flag, let's say the person canceled on you, were they respectful and timely in the notification? That's important. Did it feel like they were being honest? Was it a legitimate reason? And it's difficult because there's so many liars out there that we can't know for sure. But if you start to see a pattern, patterns are important. Is the person still showing up for you? Was it a one-time thing, or are they always canceling back to back to back to back? And do they show you around their friends or their family? Are they investing in you like you want to invest in them? Because if it's not an equal match, feelings can get hurt or jealousy can start to happen. Have you been clear? Is it a romantic relationship, or is it just casual friends or friends for fun? So knowing what we're getting into, we make better decisions and we don't bring ourselves into situations that will cause us to lose ourselves to where we're not getting what we need to feel whole. And our partners are supposed to bring out the best in us, kind of give you that motivation, that thrill for life, and you start experiencing things and loving things and getting in energy. And there's ups and downs in relationships, but they should usually build each other up instead of tearing somebody down. So if you guys have any questions about the relationship that you're in, or certain things that you're wondering, how do we handle it in a high value way? There's a difference between being demanding, setting boundaries. What things should we overlook? What things do we have to compromise on? So relationships can be difficult, but if both partners are willing, there's hope for a lifelong relationship, whether it's friends, family, or lovers. So thanks for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.